Everything is a weapon to humans. A 7-part HFY science fiction story, Part 1, First Contact Protocol. Ambassador Zektor of the Galactic Federation adjusted his crystalline breathing apparatus as he reviewed the briefing materials. The newest species for membership evaluation, Homo sapiens from Sol's third planet, had passed preliminary assessments. They demonstrated adequate intelligence, achieved faster-than-light travel, and showed remarkable adaptability. What concerned the Federation Council were scattered reports from deep space scouts about their unconventional methods. Ambassador, his aide Chira, buzzed. The human delegation has arrived. Through the viewport, a sleek vessel docked with Federation Station Prime. Most civilized species brought ceremonial guards with traditional energy weapons. The airlock hissed open and 5 beings emerged. Zektor's 4 eyes focused on their equipment. The lead human, Captain Sarah Chen, carried a primitive projectile weapon, metal tubes propelling fragments via chemical explosions. Fascinating, but archaic. Then he noticed the oddities. One human carried a simple hammer. Another held metallic rope. The third gripped what appeared to be a drinking vessel. "Welcome to Federation Station Prime," Zektor announced. "I am Ambassador Zektor." Captain Chen smiled. "Thank you, Ambassador. These are my security specialists, Sergeant Rodriguez, Corporal Kim, Private Thompson, and Private Singh." Chira's compound eyes studied the strange assortment. "Are those ceremonial weapons?" Rodriguez glanced at his hammer. "This? No, ma'am. Just in case we need to fix something. Or break something. Depends on the situation." Zektor's gill slits fluttered with confusion. "Fix or break?" "Everything's a tool if you use it right," Thompson added cheerfully, hefting her coffee mug. "This baby's gotten me out of more tight spots than I can count." Walking toward diplomatic quarters, Zektor felt unsettled. The Federation had encountered thousands of species, each with specialized combat implements. But humans seemed to view their entire environment as a potential arsenal. Every object around them was being assessed, not just for its intended purpose, but for possibilities he couldn't fathom. The decorative wall panels, the lighting fixtures, even the floor tiles seemed to capture their attention in ways that suggested tactical evaluation. This was going to be a very interesting evaluation indeed. The next morning, Zektor arranged a standard combat evaluation in Station Prime's holodeck. Each prospective species demonstrated military capabilities against simulated threats, a formality, since most civilized species had moved beyond physical violence centuries ago. The holodeck materialized an urban battlefield with cover positions, hostile targets, and defensive objectives. General Morgath, the Federation's insectoid military advisor, observed alongside Zektor. "Let's see what these humans can do with primitive kinetics," Morgath clicked. Captain Chen's team entered as the scenario began. Hostile alien warriors with energy weapons launched their assault. What happened next would be discussed in Federation military academies for decades. Rodriguez immediately grabbed rubble, concrete from a destroyed building. With casual precision, he hurled it, striking an enemy's weapon and disarming him instantly. Did he just... Morgath's antenna twitched. Thompson found a maintenance panel. Using her coffee mug, she smashed the cover, exposed wiring, and within seconds, jury-rigged an electromagnetic pulse device that disabled 3 enemy shields simultaneously. Kim discovered a construction site. She grabbed steel rebar, tested its weight, and began using it as projectile and close combat weapon, ricocheting it off walls to strike enemies from impossible angles. Singh found a decorative fountain. He redirected water flow, creating a slippery surface that sent enemies tumbling, then wielded the fountain's metal piping as a club. Meanwhile, Chen had climbed to higher ground using nothing but hands, feet, and a discarded food container as a step. From there, she coordinated her team's improvised attacks while using debris as projectiles with sniper-like accuracy. The simulation ended in 4 minutes, 37 seconds. Complete human victory. Morgath's mandibles hung open. They turned the entire battlefield into weapons. Every piece of environmental debris had become tactical advantage. Broken concrete became ammunition. Maintenance panels became electronic sources. Construction materials became melee weapons. Water features became traps and clubs. The humans hadn't just fought in the environment, they'd weaponized it completely. "General," Zektor said slowly, "I think we need to update our evaluation criteria." News of the humans' unconventional combat demonstration spread quickly through Federation Station Prime. Within hours, requests poured in from various departments wanting to observe these newcomers. Chief Engineer Vexkala, a tentacled cephalopoid renowned for innovative problem-solving, was particularly intrigued. Her species led galactic engineering, but the humans' approach seemed fundamentally different. "Captain Chen," Vexkala gurgled through her aquatic translator, "would your people assist with a technical problem? We've struggled with it for rotations." The issue was in Maintenance Sector 7. A critical power coupling had failed in a space too small for Federation species, too delicate for repair drones, and too complex for simple replacement. The sector required major reconstruction, weeks of work costing millions of credits. Private Singh examined the problem for 30 seconds before asking, "Anyone got a coat hanger?" What?" Vexkala's translator struggled. "Wire, bendable metal wire, about this thick," Singh demonstrated. 10 minutes later, Singh had fashioned a tool from ventilation grating, a magnetic component from a broken scanner, and chewing gum. He snaked this improvised device through the impossibly tight space and, with delicate precision, realigned the power coupling. The sector hummed back to life. "By the deep currents," Vexkala whispered, "how did you know that would work?" Singh shrugged. "Back home, we call it percussive maintenance. Sometimes you need to hit things with the right tool. And if you don't have the right tool," he held up his improvised device, "you make one." Word spread faster after that. Hydroponics called when automated systems malfunctioned. Kim fixed it using a dinner fork, string, and percussive recalibration. Communications array went down due to software conflicts, stumping Federation technicians for days. Thompson solved it by turning the entire system off and on again, a concept so simple no engineer had tried it. By week's end, there was a waiting list of departments requesting human assistance. "Ambassador," Chira buzzed nervously, "the humans are becoming quite popular, perhaps too popular." Zektor studied reports flooding his desk. Humans had increased station efficiency by 23% in 5 days, using nothing but found items and approaches violating every sacred Federation engineering principle. "Chira," he said slowly, "I'm beginning to think we're not evaluating them for membership. Sir, I think they're evaluating us." Dr. Yulseth, the Federation's leading xenopsychologist, requested a formal interview with the human delegation. Her species, the ethereal luminary, had evolved beyond physical conflict millennia ago, achieving dispute resolution through mental harmonics and energy manipulation. The concept of treating everyday objects as potential weapons both fascinated and disturbed her. "Captain Chen," Dr. Yilseth's form shimmered as she projected thoughts through the translation matrix. "Help me understand your species' relationship with implements of harm." They sat in the observation lounge, stars wheeling past massive windows. Chen sipped from a ceramic mug, which, Dr. Yilseth noted, could easily be broken to create sharp cutting edges. "That's an interesting way to put it," Chen replied. "We don't think of them as implements of harm. We think of them as potential." Potential? Every object has multiple purposes. This mug holds coffee, but in emergencies it could break windows, serve as a projectile, or signal for help by reflecting light. A pencil writes, but also serves as a lever, hole poker, or weapon if necessary. Dr. Yilseth's luminescent form flickered with confusion. "But how do you function in a society where everything could be used for violence?" The same way you function where everyone has mental powers that could theoretically harm others, Rodriguez interjected, examining a decorative plant for tactical applications, trust, and social contracts. But surely your evolutionary development toward weaponizing tools has made your species more aggressive. Chen laughed. Actually, it's made us more creative. When you know anything can be a weapon, you also know anything can be a solution. The same mindset that lets me turn a paperclip into a lockpick also lets me turn a broken engine into a working reactor. Thompson nodded from where she studied the ventilation system. My grandmother used to say, "There's no such thing as junk, only materials you haven't found a use for yet." Your grandmother was a warrior? She was a kindergarten teacher, Thompson replied cheerfully. Basically the same thing. In her report that evening, Dr. Yilseth wrote, "The humans do not see weapons. They see possibilities." This fundamental difference in perception may explain their rapid technological advancement and adaptability. At the bottom, she added, "Recommendation: immediate full membership. The Federation needs this thinking." General Morgath was not convinced by the earlier demonstration. Real threats required real responses, not simulated ones. Without informing Ambassador Zector, he arranged a minor systems malfunction, a complete environmental system failure that trapped 37 beings from 12 species in a sealed compartment with declining oxygen and rising toxic gas levels. Federation emergency teams were mysteriously delayed. Morgath watched from Command Center as Captain Chen's team arrived at the crisis scene. Atmospheric breach, rising toxicity, emergency systems offline, Chen assessed quickly. How long do we have? 17 minutes before oxygen levels become critical, Kim reported, checking her improvised scanner, built from a broken tablet and sensor components. What followed was a masterclass in human problem-solving. Rodriguez began dismantling decorative wall panels using metal sheeting to create makeshift air circulation. Singh found water recycling pipes and, using a maintenance tool and chewing gum, rerouted them into a primitive gas scrubbing system. Thompson discovered that artificial gravity generators could be temporarily overloaded to create convection currents for air circulation. She accomplished this using the station's coffee machine, rewiring, and percussive engineering. Kim turned a child's magnetic toy ball into a component for repairing the main atmospheric processor. Chen coordinated everything while using a broken chair leg to pry open emergency access panels that hadn't been opened in decades. 14 minutes later, atmospheric systems were not only restored but running more efficiently than they had in years. Morgath stared at his monitors in disbelief. The humans had transformed maintenance debris, decorative items, and children's toys into a sophisticated life support system. They hadn't just solved the crisis, they'd improved upon the original design. "Sir," his aide chittered nervously, "should we reveal this was a test?" Morgath's mandibles clicked slowly. "No, I think we've learned what we needed to know." In his official report, he wrote, "The humans do not just adapt to their environment. They remake their environment to suit their needs, using whatever materials are available." Privately, he added, "We're not evaluating a new member species. We're encountering a force of nature that happens to be intelligent." In her report that evening, Dr. Yilseth wrote, "The humans do not see weapons. They see possibilities." This fundamental difference in perception may explain their rapid technological advancement and adaptability. At the bottom, she added, "Recommendation: immediate full membership. The Federation needs this thinking." As word of the humans' abilities spread throughout Federation Station Prime, an unexpected development occurred. Other species began requesting to learn from them. The Verdanian engineers, masters of biotechnology, wanted to understand human mechanical approaches. The Crystalline Collective, beings of pure energy specializing in theoretical physics, were fascinated by percussive maintenance. Even the ancient archivists, keepers of galactic knowledge for 50,000 years, sent representatives. Ambassador Zector found himself hosting an impromptu cultural exchange in the main conference hall. The key, Captain Chen explained to dozens of different species, is not thinking about what something is designed to do. Think about what it can do. She held up a simple fork. This is designed to help consume food. But it can also serve as a small rake, lockpick, electrical conductor, measurement tool, projectile, or component in larger devices. Various forms of murmuring, buzzing, and harmonic resonance filled the hall. A Verdanian engineer raised a thorny appendage. But how do you know which alternate function to choose? Experience and creativity, Rodriguez answered. You try things, you experiment, you fail, then try something else. But failure could be dangerous, clicked a Hive Collective representative. Sure, Thompson agreed cheerfully, but so is not trying anything. We have a saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Dr. Yilseth shimmered forward. I believe what the humans describe is a fundamental philosophical difference. Most Federation species develop specialized tools for specific purposes and use them within parameters. Humans develop general principles and apply them to whatever tools they encounter. Exactly, Chen nodded. We don't see a fork as just a fork. We see it as a small, durable, multi-pronged object with specific dimensions and material properties. Once you think that way, applications become obvious. An elderly archivist pulsed with ancient wisdom. This suggests your species has never fully specialized. You've maintained adaptive generalization. This is unprecedented among advanced civilizations. Maybe that's why we got advanced, Singh suggested. Hard to get stuck in one way of thinking when everything keeps changing. By session's end, several species had requested formal technology and philosophy exchange programs with Earth. Ambassador, Chira buzzed later, I believe we have our answer about human membership. Zektor considered the day's events. Yes, I believe we do. The Federation Council chamber was packed as representatives from across the galaxy gathered to vote on humanity's application for membership. It was supposed to be routine. The humans had clearly met all technical requirements, and their demonstrations had been more than adequate. What no one anticipated was the debate that preceded the vote. Esteemed colleagues, began Chancellor Vexara, her tentacles gesturing in formal patterns, we face an unprecedented decision. The question is not whether humans qualify for membership. Clearly they do. The question is whether the Federation is ready for them. A ripple of confusion spread through the chamber. What Chancellor Vexara means, explained General Morgath, rising, is that humans don't just bring new technology or perspectives. They bring a new way of thinking that could fundamentally change how the Federation operates. Ambassador Zektor addressed the Assembly. In 1 month, human involvement has increased station efficiency by 34%, solved 12 engineering problems that stumped our specialists for years, and introduced 47 new applications for existing Federation technology. They've done this using everyday objects and approaches so simple we overlooked them. Dr. Yilseth's luminescent form pulsed. The humans don't see the universe as we do. Where we see fixed categories and specialized functions, they see potential and possibility. This could revolutionize Federation science, engineering, and crisis response. But is that revolution welcome? Asked Councillor Drekthar. Our civilizations have achieved stability through specialization and systematic approaches. Human improvisation could introduce chaos. Captain Chen stepped forward. With respect, Counselor, we're not asking you to abandon your methods. We're offering to share ours. The galaxy is big enough for multiple approaches to problem solving. Besides, added Rodriguez from the gallery, chaos is just another word for opportunity if you know how to handle it. The debate continued for hours, covering military doctrine to engineering philosophy to the very nature of technological advancement. Finally, Chancellor Vexara called for the vote. All in favor of full Federation membership for the human species. The chamber filled with lights, sounds, and energy patterns as each species registered their vote. Motion carries, 847 in favor, 23 opposed, 12 abstentions. As celebration erupted, Zector approached Chen. "Welcome to the Federation," he said, "though I suspect it's the Federation that should be grateful." Chen smiled and shook his hand. "Thank you, Ambassador. We're looking forward to seeing what we can build together." "Build or fix," Thompson added cheerfully, "depending on what needs doing." The universe had just become a much more interesting place.